What up, YouTube? How are you guys doing? It's been a minute since I've uploaded stuff. I've been really busy in December, and I just wanted to drop like a random video. I had like 2 a.m. thoughts last night about like what I could contribute for you guys that would really help you guys right now, even though there's a lot of off season and all the new kids are grinding still. Tekken is in a weird state, so a lot of people are dropping the game. A lot of people like feel like giving up, and I want to like tell you guys that I went through like a similar thing in T7, and the reason why I keep playing and how I like solved all those things. So like when I started playing Tekken, I never really like aimed to be like a pro player, right? Like I didn't install the game and I was like, I'm gonna become a pro and travel to all these tournaments. I'm not gonna become like blah blah blah. I just played for fun and I never stopped. Obviously I took a lot of breaks, and breaks are very important, like you guys know, but it was a constant grind, right? When it comes to like gaming, I'm always the type of player to like competitively try my best in everything. That applies to FPS games, League when I was playing, like Smash, and Tekken, which was the most recent game that I got into. The competitive mindset can be really toxic to yourself because you're always trying to improve, right? You always compare yourself to someone that's better. You want to strive to be better, and most people that are super competitive have like an ego, right? I have a huge ego, and it's pretty known, and I think it's pretty necessary to have an ego for competitiveness, because otherwise you don't have like the drive to be the best, right? Even as humble as everybody is, they just want to be good, like Arslan, Nee, Lohai, and all them. This can be like a double-edged sword, because when you lose to some bullshit, when you lose to lag, when you lose to certain characters, or you get stuck at a wall, you don't see your rank go up, you either get mad at the game or get mad at yourself or whatever, right? I've had a lot of breakdowns in the past. I've gone through moments where like I legit like cried over the game and like fell asleep crying and shit, like thinking I was like not gonna ever make it. Moments where it's like affected like my mental health and shit. But I'm here to tell you that I've gone through all that and made it to the good side. One thing I should tell you guys is that losing never stops. Losing is something that's inevitable in a 1v1 game, especially a competitive game. There's always going to be somebody that will beat your ass. If you don't lose to anyone you're playing, then you should play someone better, right? So you want to lose so you can learn. And how you get better with handling that is having like obviously a growth mindset. And the growth mindset, as it sounds, is like you're just looking to get better, right? And I know a lot of people do have this. Like there's a lot of grinders in like Feescord, my Discord, Speed's Discord, and they constantly lose and they're always looking forward and all that. But there's times where they're like, yo, like when am I gonna reach the next rank? When am I gonna reach the next threshold? I mean, it is kind of like the game's fault telling you like you are this skill level because you are this rank. And I like as someone that like went through all that, it's just like a test of like how good you are that day, right? And skill is a kind of like you're either going to be really bad one day or really good, right? And it fluctuates. And depending on the day, you can be really ass, you can be really good. Sometimes my execution is bad. Sometimes I miss taunt jet uppers in all tournament. Sometimes I'm hitting every single one, right? A lot of it comes down to just how you are doing on that day. Sometimes you can just have a bad day and you just rank down 3 times. It doesn't mean that you're getting worse. It doesn't mean that you're not as good as you were yesterday. It's just that you had a rough day, right? And being able to identify that is really important, because the next day you get the dopamine back from just like ranking all the way back up, right? For the people that are stuck in their rank, whether it's Mighty Ruler or like Fujin or whatever, there's always a reason why you're stuck there, right? And forcing yourself to just play the game like constantly in ranked is half of the work that you're supposed to do, right? Everyone tells you need a lab. Everyone tells you that this is the reason why you're losing. You don't know matchups, you've never seen this character before, or people want to dun you and all that. Those are things that you should focus on, because when I was going through those ranks in T7, I put so much time into learning every single matchup because I was tired of fighting people and holding a string and not knowing it, so I lost, right? For example, like if you didn't know that Heihachi 122 into stance on block was not real, for example, and you just lose to that the whole time, and they abuse it against you, like if you take that away from them, would they have like still won, right? I had that mentality of, if I take away all these bullshit tools that they have, can they really beat me as the player, right? And it shot me up the ranks, obviously, and it wasn't immediate. It was a lot of practice, and I still practice string defense, punishment, reactions, and all that, throw breaks. Defense is very important. And then also being able to run your shit, as I've talked about in previous videos before. So there's always going to be like some sort of pain point on why you lost, and everybody does watch their replays and shit. Having somebody better than you look at it will probably be a big help. Like obviously me, Landon, Fee do it all the time, Speed coaches, and it can give you some insight on what to focus on for like the next week and help you out on like what you're weak on. For that week, when you learn something new, you're always going to lose, right? You're always going to start losing because you're trying to work on something that you suck at. Once you get it down, that's when you shoot back up, right? Sometimes the advice takes a little bit for you to understand and apply. Like my biggest thing that I'm trying to work on right now is like not trying to act pretty or like clean when I'm playing. I play a very fundamental way. I play a very like Korean-esque gameplay, and it sometimes holds me back on like doing things that will win me the match. So that's my thing that I'm trying to focus on. Sometimes I don't want advice. I just want someone to listen to my Tekken woes. I used to be a complainer a lot. I used to blame shit going on in the game as I'm playing. I used to rant on Twitter all the time about certain characters. I used to call people random because like they would just hop kick me and shit. Like if you've tried to like beat Lily players in this game and try to beat Elisa players, right, and their style of Tekken doesn't align with what you think is right, it can make you 2 times as mad, right? But you just gotta understand, like whatever they do, you have to just beat it. And if you're losing to them, there's a reason. And throwing away all the cope really helps like solidify like thick skin, right? Once you just like take all the blame without dooming, right? Dooming is another thing. Once you take all the blame and just see it for what it is, okay, like he hop kicked there, I should know that he's gonna hop kick there, or like look out for it, and then it doesn't hit you the second time, right? There was a time when I was learning T7 where I would be able to go toe-to-toe with Tekken God Primes, which is like high rank, but I wouldn't be able to beat people in like Blue or like Tekken Emperor. And this is like due to like the pro players will play or like give you some sort of respect already because they don't need to like cheese you, right? They don't need to play dirty in order to win. But that's the thing that you're weak against, right? When people just do these unsafe strings or reactable lows and throw you all the fucking time because they expect it to hit, those are the things that hit you, right? But when you're playing like footsies and poke Tekken with the higher ranks, it feels like you should be there. But the underlying factor is that you're missing out on that defense, right? In order to, and experience, right? It's a big experience gap to get you there. All you really need to do to get through that is just keep like hammering in the defense, doing what I was talking about earlier in the video with like practicing it all, and it'll translate. I wasn't born with good defense, right? Nobody was born knowing every single Tekken move. We all work towards it. It's a very crucial part to learning the game. And I know it's really overwhelming with how many moves there are, how many characters there are, but besides them adding DLC and new characters being added and whatnot, there's a finite amount of Tekken moves that you need to look out for. The more you work on it, the less the list becomes, right? It just like shortens and shortens. So that's really important. Another point I want to talk about is motivation. Not all of us are trying to become pro players. Not all of the Tekken community cares about becoming the top of the top. There's people that just want to have fun, right? And obviously if you're not having fun, then obviously you take a break and whatnot. But I'm like trying to say is like, don't give up on the game because of the losses and shit, right? I guarantee that if you look back on your own replays in 3 months, you compare yourself to like who you were back then, or like 6 months even, you'll see a huge difference and you won't even realize, right? Obviously the rank in the top right hand corner is gonna like show you, oh, you went from like Fujin to Tekken King, like you must have gotten better. But then you're like, I don't feel better because I'm always looking at myself every day. A lot of people don't like the direction the game is going in, so it's understandable that you drop the game because of that. if you're someone that's just like frustrated with losing and you have really bad mental because of it, then that's why I'm making this video, and like why, or like how I got better. Like even a player like me that loves the game, and I've played like maybe like 8,000 hours, right? I still struggle to find motivation here and there. I play other games. I like look at my computer and I don't even touch it sometimes. I like feel guilt when I don't practice the game, even though I'm considered a pro player and shit. It's very normal to have fluctuating motivation, right? We're all human at the end of the day. You just gotta find what is really important to you, what you want to achieve in this game, whether it's becoming as good as you can be, or becoming a pro, or beating your homie. You're able to chase that goal with no timeline, right? There's no deadline for like how soon you need to be good. So you can take your time, don't burn yourself out. Just know that you don't have to rush yourself, nor compare yourself to the person next to you when it comes to playing the game, because at the end of the day, bro, once you make it, people are gonna praise you anyway. For me, like, I think my breakout was during early T8, right? Like in T7, I was always considered a challenger. When it got to this game, everyone considered me like, okay, you're like one of the top players now, you need to be beating these people here and there. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You know, like these people have been playing 5 years longer than me, 3 years longer than me, but to them it's like all T7 old heads are the same. I was the new kid, you know? I played Smash before this shit. In 2019 I was like drinking every day. Like, anyway, you don't need to like really compare yourself, because everybody's going through the same struggle as you. Sometimes if you just grind consistently, some people will just fall behind just because of how consistent you are. Because everybody's on a journey, some people struggle to make as much progress as you, or like vice versa. If you really are the type to compare yourself to your peers, I have had a lot of friends that I started the game with that don't play anymore, right? And they're like, damn, I can't believe you stuck with it for 5 years or 4 years. So my motivation right now is that this game makes me happy. I love it. It's very important for me to remember that I do love this game. It's very important for me to remember that it's a big part of my life. And instead of playing it out of, oh, I put so much time into this shit, I need to be good, I play it because I have fun and I love it. Hopefully this video helps you like find your motivation, and if there's any struggles that you have, you can come to my stream and we'll talk about it. I don't have the best mental, but I have tried my hardest to have the best mental, and that's pretty important. If you like this video, shout out Slime, and check out the other ones. Thank you. Is it an e-girl sweater?